In 2022, the hit K-drama Reborn Rich achieved a lot of success but divided opinions with a controversial ending, and now that a second season has been announced, many netizens are confused and skeptical. This series, based on a very popular webtoon, follows the story of Yoon Hyun-woo, played by Song Joong-ki. He's a hardworking employee of the Yang Cheol family who runs the lucrative Yang Group business empire, and he's always been loyal to the head of the family, Yang Cheol, played by Lee Sung-min. During a power struggle between the children of Yang Cheol for control of the company, Hyun-woo is betrayed by an unknown member of the family and loses his life. However, he suddenly wakes up in the past as a kid in the body of the youngest member of the family, Jin Do-jun. After realizing what just happened to him, Hyun-woo devises an elaborate plan to take over the Yang Group from within using Do-jun's identity while punishing those who hurt him. To complete his plan, Hyun-woo faces a lot of hurdles and has to overcome Yang Cheol's preference for his first son, Jin Young-ki, played by Yoon Jae-moon. Meanwhile, he also gets involved with So Min-young, a prosecutor played by Shin Hyun-bin, who investigates the shady activities of the Yang Group. The story spans several decades, with a focus on the 1997 Asian financial crisis, and deals with the inner struggles of chaebol families, while also tackling many societal issues such as wealth inequality and generational conflicts. Thanks to this compelling premise, Reborn Rich attracted the attention of many K-drama fans even before it aired, and the series became one of the most anticipated shows of 2022. The presence of Joong-ki also contributed to the hype, not only because of his popularity, but also because he rarely acts in dramas, and his previous series was the extremely successful and highly praised Vincenzo. The show debuted with an already high viewership, and the numbers of viewers increased with every new episode. Reborn Rich achieved its highest viewership with the last episode, reaching a nationwide audience share of 26.9%, which is the second highest viewership ratings of any drama on cable television in Korean history, behind only The World of the Married and above popular shows such as Queen of Tears, Crash Landing on You, and Goblin. The series also earned a lot of awards, including the prize for Best Miniseries at the 2023 Seoul International Drama Awards. The show was highly praised by Korean viewers who loved the chaebol revenge story, the inclusion of fantasy elements such as reincarnation, and the focus on events of recent Korean history. However, international viewers were more critical, and according to some viewers, the show was a bit too ambitious, mixing together business, crime, family drama, and time travel. Because of this, the show sometimes felt too complicated and failed to establish proper world building. Also, the immersion in the show is often broken by the fact that some cast members play the same character over a 30-year span with no change in appearance, while the actors playing the father and son duo of Yang Cheol and Young-ki only have a 2-year age difference in real life. Even worse, the show creates a ridiculous plot hole that's never explained. Since Hyun-woo reincarnates into Do-jun, the two characters look identical, but somehow no one ever notices their obvious similarity. Some have argued that this was done to make the audience better understand the link between the two, but this still breaks the immersion. Meanwhile, the acting of the leads divided opinions, with some saying that Joong-ki carried the entire show, and others arguing that he once again played the same character as in his previous projects, which makes him feel bland and without depth. Instead, Sung-min's acting was universally praised, and according to many critics, he stole the show in every scene he was in. So, while the series still stood out among the many dramas focusing on chaebol families thanks to its unique story, many felt it was lacking in several aspects. The most criticized aspect of the show was, without a doubt, its ending, which has sometimes been described as one of the worst endings of any K-drama. Over the course of the series, Hyun-woo takes out all of his rivals one by one, but towards the end, the plot starts to deviate from the webtoon it was based on, alienating fans of the original story. This could have been fine anyway if the show had a great ending, but instead in the last episode, the story became completely absurd. After showing the meticulously planned revenge of Hyun-woo in Do-jun's body for 15 episodes, the final episode reveals that he didn't actually pass away, but he was only unconscious, and Do-jun had perished instead. This unexpected plot twist basically made all the previous episodes completely useless, as the entire story was actually just a dream. Viewers who rooted for Hyun-woo crew throughout the series felt betrayed, and countless netizens complained that the ending was an awful example of lazy writing. Viewers were also disappointed by how different the ending was from the webtoon. In the original story, Doo-jun in the end becomes the new CEO of the Soon-young group, which many felt was the most logical ending. However, as the drama reveals that the whole story was just a dream, the characters just return to the present, and Doo-jun has passed away instead. Fans of the show were so disappointed that when over 20,000 netizens participated in a poll to determine the K-drama with the worst ending ever in 2023, Reborn Rich won first place with an overwhelming 34% of the votes. The controversy surrounding the show's ending only grew larger when the author of the original webtoon revealed they had no prior knowledge that the plot had been drastically changed. As the ending left a lot of unanswered questions and a ton of plot holes, some fans started to beg for a second season, hoping that a sequel would wrap things up better. Rumors about a possible sequel started to circulate a few months after the first season ended, and in November 2023, the director of Reborn Rich, Jeong Dae Yoon, teased that a second season was in the works. Back then, he revealed that the original author of Reborn Rich was writing a story that focuses on the younger days of Soon-young Group CEO Yang Cheol, and added that the second season might be based around this character, meaning that it would be a prequel rather than a sequel. This could be a welcome twist for a lot of fans, as many viewers were disappointed by the fact that Yang Cheol passed away toward the end of the first season. After years of rumors and speculation, now the second season of Reborn Rich has finally been confirmed, and a lot of surprising news is already coming out. The first surprising news is that the new season is currently being developed by the entertainment company Artist Group, in which Jung Jae serves as a major shareholder. However, it's still unclear how much he will be involved in the production of this show, and even if he will be involved at all. In any case, Artist Group also shared some details about the possible direction of the second season, which might be very different from what people expect. When they announced the Reborn Rich sequel, a representative of the company stated, "This project is being developed as strategic content targeting global audiences. From the beginning, we focused on creating characters and storylines that emotionally resonate with international viewers." This vague statement could be interpreted as a shift from the world of Korean corporations to a much more global scale, while still keeping the essential aspects of K-drama storytelling, such as emotional character development and strong social commentary. With this premise, viewers could expect a show that goes way beyond the scope of the first season, with a narrative focused on power, success, and love in a high-stakes global context. This also means that the second season will very likely introduce a ton of new characters and might even move to a more international setting. However, the news released by Artist Group so far seems to contradict the previous statements made by the director of the first season. He teased that the second season would be a prequel focused on Yang Cheol's rise to power, but this implies a story centered mainly in Korea and with a smaller scale, which is the exact opposite of what the new production team is seemingly working on. So it's possible that the direction of the second season was drastically changed when Artist Group took over the project. Assuming that the show will be a follow-up to Reborn Rich, as Artist Group is suggesting, many characters from the first season might return in the sequel, including the members of the Jin family. Netizens are speculating that Jung Ki and Sung Min might return and reprise their roles from the first season, but currently there hasn't been any announcement regarding the cast of the show, so it's unclear if some or any of the cast members will be back in the second season. In fact, the production team has stated, "We aim to create another legendary season with a fresh casting and a script that lives up to the scale of the expanded world." Since they talked about a fresh casting, it wouldn't be surprising if the second season features a cast of entirely new characters and completely moves away from the story of the Soon-young group. After seeing these announcements, a lot of netizens were left confused and disappointed. Many feel like a second season is completely unnecessary, arguing that even though the ending was bad, the story was still complete and the webtoon has also concluded. Some are saying that a second season is in the works only because the first one was successful, and many are already saying that the sequel is just a money grab, pointing at the production team's statements about their apparent pivot to international viewers. Because of this and the awful ending of season 1, few people have any hope that a sequel would be good. A release date hasn't been announced yet, and the show show is probably still in the early phases of development, but it seems like the second season of Reborn Rich is already facing an uphill battle, and it will be interesting to see how the next news about the plot and the cast will be received by the public.